This is a really weird camera angle, sorry, but I'm just somewhere where I can't really aim the camera anywhere. Now, I'm just going to talk a bit about what happened last night, as it's become a very eventful day due to that. So I was laying in bed. I went out with my husband last night, and it was our first anniversary in 9 years. This is the first time he made an effort to do anything, and it was more than anything, it was absolutely amazing. So in the last 8 years, he's done nothing. He's forgotten about it, And then this year, he said to me a few days ago, "You're going to be really happy with what you get." And I thought, oh, okay, probably some other present that I'll be like, oh. So I held no expectation, because usually I find I have an expectation, then he can't deliver. And so I dropped that. And then he gave me a card yesterday when I got home from work, and he said, it said in there, there's nothing material that I could ever give you that represents our relationship. And so the best gift he could give me was to get Lily, our daughter, looked after so we could go out for dinner. And I was very floored. I cried a lot. I could not believe it. I thought, because this is, we live in a place where we don't have any family around, and we don't have really a lot of people to lean on like that, so we don't get to experience each other much. Very busy, very busy lives, and I was just floored, and I could not believe it, and it was such a beautiful thing. So we went out last night, and yeah, it was just really beautiful to be able to experience that, and I guess to have him actually be selfless for once instead of just thinking about himself. Then last night while I was asleep, so I went to sleep, we both, crashed out, we got home, and I felt myself speak a language, and it was a lot softer than the languages that I've spoken before, so it was very much just like a bit of a chanty, non-aggressive language, probably just like maybe something like that. And I felt, so this is obviously fast asleep, mind's eye, subconscious started to travel cosmically. I've been asking for this a lot lately too. I had about 4 or 5 days of feeling like absolute shit, like most people did over the full moon. And so I asked for change. I said, I can't feel like that anymore. I can't feel weighed down. I need ascension. I need change. So in my dream, I felt my husband, I spoke the language, and I felt my husband push my head up, like towards the sky. And then I felt like a beam come from my third eye, and then I saw the beam match up with the ship. And this is the second time I've seen a ship now, so it was obviously different. The last one was the Tal Cetin one, and this was different. It was more like golden, silver gold, bronze, maybe bronze colour, and I think a bit smaller as well, and just a different shape, similar but different, and a very sensual energy, and I didn't really know what was happening, and I felt myself be taken up to this shit. Now, it felt very natural. See, I've felt some very deep, dark stuff in these times before, and I've had to really push it away. So I'm very cautious. I think this is why in my dream my husband had to hold my head up, because I can be really cautious as to what's going on if I'm not sure. But this felt like, yeah, okay, I'm ready for this, whatever this is. So I felt like my spirit got taken to the ship, and I could feel my body still laying there, and didn't really see much up there, just what I would call a flurry of people's auras. So it wasn't like there was people, or what you might consider like what an alien looks like or anything like that. It was just like white auras, like bustling about. And then I did feel like very sexual energy come on, and I was like, okay, this is really interesting. And I think that by then I went back into my body, and I was shaking and twitching. and I felt myself slowly come back into my body, and I was feeling really, really aroused. Now, lately, my husband and I, like, we're pretty tired. We don't really have a lot of sex. I mean, we still have sex, but probably not as much as we used to. Um, and I guess, like, we get less aroused because we're so tired, we just go to bed. But, oh my goodness, like, halfway through sleep, it felt like I'd traveled, like, eons, like, millions of years. And it was like an hour or something after we'd gone to sleep, but I felt myself come back, kind of wake up, but in a bit of a disoriented, dreamlike state. And, asked for sex from my husband. So, started that. That was weird, though. It actually felt like it was weird. And it felt like it needed to be like a self ritual instead of a two-person ritual. Anyway, we had sex. I could feel from him that it was really, really intense. But my experiences were so different. Like, I could feel my sacral just, like, almost felt my chakra, like, come, how do I explain it? Open and close, I guess, but in, like, this spiral. So open and then close, and it just kept doing that. And even thinking about it now, it's doing it. And it just, like, elevates the intensity so much more. And then it didn't take long, and, we hit a pretty high point in orgasm. But I felt very awake, and I'd been asleep like an hour. It felt like a long time. And I was so incredibly aroused. And I just thought, oh, okay, this is very interesting. And, obviously knowing that I'd experienced that experience with the Pleiadians as well. I also knew it was the Pleiadians, so intuitively I just felt like it was that. Not having asked to have any contact with them or whatever. But I'm guessing this is just the next stage in evolution. And Ascension, when I was looking up, I'll go back. So I woke up very disorientated this morning to the point where I had to go back to bed for hours. I was exhausted. I mean, my whole body had practically been, like, shaking and twitching all night. I was just in this intense space of arousal. And that's fine with me. I'm quite a sexual person anyway. So sex, I've never, like, shied away from sex or being aroused or anything like that. But this was, like, cosmic arousal. This was probably the most intense I've ever felt for myself. And I was saying to my husband, maybe it's because, he unlocked this selflessness that I'd been, even up until yesterday, I'm just thinking, yeah, he probably hasn't done much. He's probably just, bought us something to eat. And when I got home, he said, oh, yeah, having dumplings for dinner. I was like, oh, is that all you've organised, And he was like, yeah, no, read your card. I've organised something else. So even up until then, like, I just thought, oh, he'll probably be pretty selfish about this all. And, it was amazing how, like, I think from him being like that, I've unlocked a huge part of my own self, cosmic energy. Now, doing more reading today, so I was very disorientated. I wanted to leave the house and just spend some time outside. Sitting on the bus, I was basically arousing myself and having orgasms. Very unnoticeable, but very intense. So I got off the bus and I was like, oh my God, it just feels so intense. And then sitting in the library, I was getting the same thing. I thought, I've got to look this stuff up. So I started looking it up, and there's a lot to do with Pleiadian, sensual energy, sexual energy, and Kundalini. Now, as I was walking up to my uni, my back was killing me. I was thinking, that is such an intense pain. And I would almost call it a fire, like it's a heat. And, yep, lo and behold, when I look up what Kundalini is, it very much starts in the sacrum area, the end of the bottom of the spine, and heats up. So I've definitely opened my Kundalini and abilities, and the cosmic urges are just, like, intense. Like, I feel like I should impregnate myself. It is just so intense. Like, I feel like I don't even need someone else to pleasure me anymore. I hope that it calms down a bit over the next few days, because I have to go to work. But I kind of want to know if anyone's had an experience like this. I'm getting, like, this really sensual language come through, so I'm just going to keep running with that and doing some videos, because I actually can't find anything that's like Pleiadian Kundalini activation. So the one that I did earlier very much felt like that. It worked up through, like, the chakras to activate Kundalini and self Kundalini. So I really think this is something that I need to just video and put something together. So I might do a bit of a longer one, but um, yeah, if you're interested, like jump on the last video that I did and just have a listen because it's very, very um, evoking. And I'm really glad because I think I'm finally coming into like my own space and, who I'm meant to feel like. And yeah, it's very intense. I almost feel like it hurts, the arousal hurts, which is good because it made me think how much I think I'm in love, and that's pain. Whereas love should actually be cosmic arousal and love for self. And that's where love comes from. It's true love for self, not true love for someone else. And then once you have true love for self, then you're able to love someone else. Which, I've known for a long time, but this is like definite true love for self. So, long time coming. Yeah, so I just thought I'd talk a bit about that. If you've had any kind of similar experience, please contact me because this is like so interesting. I'm guessing this is going to happen a lot more to people the more that they awaken and ascend and become more light. I could actually feel myself, becoming more light, and I was putting more light over myself just before I woke up as well. It's very disorientating though, so if you do ask for this kind of experience before you go to sleep, just be aware that you will be really disorientated. I had no idea what was going on this morning. I felt like I was in a completely different body, which really essentially I am. And I have a different energy. And the other thing, when I was twitching about it, felt like there was electrical currents running through me, and that's exactly how it felt. So just be really aware of, some of these like things that happen, and don't be afraid of it. Don't shut it down because, when something feels right or not. When it's a good energy that you're attaching yourself to. And really, if you're in control of creating your own reality, that's all you'll attach to anyway. You're not going to attract anything negative. All right, well, I'm going to go, but I'll probably put up another video because I'm really, really amazed by this new song chant language that's come through. So, yeah,